When the ISO 27001 standard was updated in 2022, many people celebrated. The number of Annex A controls dropped from 114 to 93, a reduction of almost 20%. Fewer controls must mean an easier audit, right? Not quite. The new version consolidated redundant controls, but it also introduced 11 brand new, highly technical controls designed to address the modern threat landscape. Controls covering cloud security, data leakage prevention, secure coding, and, critically, threat intelligence. If your information security management system has not adapted to these new requirements, your next audit is at serious risk. Welcome back to ThreatWise. In our last video, we covered the ISO 27001 certification journey from scoping to the final audit. Today, we are going deep into the engine room, Annex A itself. We will break down all 4 new control categories, explain the 11 new controls you need to know, and show you how to master the toughest technological controls that consistently cause audit failures. The old 2013 standard organized controls into 14 domains, which was often confusing and led to duplication. The 2022 update simplified this into 4 clear, logical categories. Understanding the purpose of each category is the first step to building a compliant ISMS. Category 1, Organizational Controls. There are 37 of these, making it the largest category. Organizational controls cover the rules of the game, your information security policies, how you manage assets and their classification, how you handle supplier relationships, and how you respond to incidents. Think of these as the governance layer that sits above everything else. If your policies are outdated or your asset inventory is incomplete, your organizational controls will fail. Category 2, People Controls. There are 8 of these. These address the human element of information security, which is consistently the most exploited attack vector. Auditors will look for evidence of background checks on new employees, formal onboarding and offboarding procedures that include access revocation, and mandatory documented security awareness training for all staff. One of the most common audit findings in this category is that a former employee's account was still active months after they left the organization. Category 3, Physical Controls. There are 14 of these. Even if you are a 100% cloud-based SaaS company, you still have physical controls to satisfy. How do you secure your office premises? How do you protect laptops when employees work remotely? Do you have a clear desk policy that prevents sensitive information from being left visible? Physical controls are often underestimated by technology-focused teams, but auditors will absolutely check them. Category 4, Technological Controls. There are 34 of these, and this is where the heaviest lifting happens. This category covers access control, cryptography, endpoint protection, secure development, and vulnerability management. It is the most technically demanding category and the one most likely to generate non-conformities if your security tooling is inadequate. Let's now focus on the 11 brand new controls introduced in the 2022 update. These were added specifically because the threat landscape had evolved beyond what the 2013 standard could address. If you transition from the old standard, these are the controls most likely to have gaps in your current ISMS. The full list of new controls is threat intelligence, information security for use of cloud services, ICT readiness for business continuity, physical security monitoring, configuration management, and data masking. Information deletion, data masking, data leakage prevention, monitoring activities, web filtering, and secure coding. Let me highlight the 2 that are causing the most challenges for organizations today. Control 5.7, Threat Intelligence. This is a genuinely new concept in the standard. ISO 27001 now explicitly requires organizations to collect and analyze information about existing and emerging threats to information security. The standard recommends operating at 3 levels: strategic intelligence, understanding the broad threat landscape; tactical intelligence, knowing the tools and techniques attackers use; and operational intelligence, having specific, actionable indicators about active threats targeting your systems. The challenge for auditors is that this control is hard to fake. You cannot just point to a subscription to a security newsletter. You need a structured, documented process for ingesting threat data, analyzing it against your specific technology stack, and acting on it. The evidence trail must show that your threat intelligence is actually influencing your security decisions. Control 5.23, Information Security for Use of Cloud Services. This control enforces the shared responsibility model in a way that the 2013 standard never did. The reality is that most organizations using AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud have a dangerous misconception. They believe the cloud provider handles security. The provider secures the physical infrastructure. You are responsible for everything built on top of it. Your data, your access configurations, your application vulnerabilities, and your compliance posture. Of all 93 controls, the one that consistently causes the most audit failures, and the one that is most directly relevant to what ThreatWise does, is Annex A 8.8, Management of Technical Vulnerabilities. To pass this control in a 2022 audit, you need a system that does three things demonstrably well. First, identification. A continuous feed of intelligence that covers your software dependencies, your cloud infrastructure, your open source components, and your third-party services. Auditors will ask, how do you know about a new CVE within 24 hours of it being published? Second, evaluation. You must show how you prioritize vulnerabilities. This is where many organizations fail. They show the auditor a list of 500 critical CVEs and say, we prioritize by CVSS score. An auditor will immediately ask, how do you know which of these 500 critical vulnerabilities are actually being exploited in the wild, right now, against systems like yours? The answer requires threat intelligence layered on top of the raw CVSS score. Third, action and evidence. This is the most common failure point. When you decide to patch a vulnerability or formally accept the risk, you must produce a time-stamped, traceable record of that decision. Who assessed it? When? What was the risk score? What action was taken? When was it completed? If you are managing this in a spreadsheet, you are going to struggle to provide this level of evidence. The evidence requirement is not bureaucracy. It is the mechanism that proves your security program is actually functioning, not just documented on paper. Annex A is not a checklist to tick off once and forget. It is the operational reality of your security program. At ThreatWise, our platform is purpose-built to automate the hardest parts of Annex A compliance. We ingest over 13 global threat intelligence sources to satisfy Control 5.7. Our multi-signal vulnerability prioritization engine, combining CVSS, EPSS, and 𝘁𝗵𝗿𝗂 data, directly addresses the evaluation requirement of Control 8.8, and our ISO 27001 workbench automatically generates the time-stamped audit trail you need to prove every vulnerability decision to your auditor. Don't face your next Annex A audit unprepared. Visit ThreatWise.io to see how we can streamline your compliance. Subscribe for more deep dives. Stay secure.